Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the number one podcast in Colorado Springs. Today I'm here with Andrew Hasley for a special episode.
I'm here with you.
We got a good episode today. It's just going to be Andrew and I talking, giving some updates about our businesses and some other things around town. But yeah, I just wanted to go over first and foremost, how have things been for Vehement Visuals and other projects that you've been doing? It's been kind of a while since you've given anybody an update on things going on with you personally. So I wanted to kind of put some limelight on that and see what's going on.
Yeah, with a specific focus, I guess you could say. Obviously, doing this podcast, I end up talking about my business a lot, but usually it's not the focus. So, so yeah, I mean, business, it's been going, been growing every year. Last year was probably my best year. I haven't done my taxes yet, so I don't know. I'm also a solopreneur, so I ignore a lot of things because I don't want to deal with it. So I ignore it until the last minute, and taxes is one of them. So I know you're supposed to be paying quarterly, or you can be penalized, or is that true?
For like a solopreneur like you, it probably doesn't matter too much, but like as you get more employees and stuff like that, it does matter. But for like, even for me, for my business, like I just do it once a year too. Yeah. I just have to, I'm at a point now where I definitely need a bookkeeper because little things might happen with the software, QuickBooks or whatever you're using. And it's like so much time to like learn something and learn like what the actual legalities are of it, and then learn how to actually like market it in the bookkeeping. So I'm just gonna get a bookkeeper, but like for you, that's fine. You don't have any vendors you paid or anything like that, because that's actually was due yesterday. But besides that, there's nothing too crazy. Yeah, like paying 1099s going out to any of your independent contractors. I've done it after the 27th. I've done it after before. It's no big deal. I don't even think there's a penalty. It's just you should probably get it out. That's the deadline.
And in order for something to qualify as a 1099, it has to be over $500? $600? Okay, so I think I'm good on that, actually. So
yeah, well, you've gone through a lot of different things because you are a tinkerer, like we've talked about on other episodes before.
Tinkerbell?
You are a Tinkerbell. And like anybody that knows you personally knows that about you, like as far as like any cutting edge new thing that's coming out, especially AI. We wanted to talk a little bit about Chat GPT on this episode as well, for those of you who don't know what it is, and then some of the things you can use for application for it. But for you, like you've been using AI well before most of the mainstream even knew about Chat GPT and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit more about like how you kind of been experimenting with it and maybe how you're using it for your business moving forward.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great tool. I think that's where the future is going, and I think it's enabling individuals to do more faster, and I think it's also important to note you can have ideas, you can create, you can have ideas all you want, but actually executing on them is the difference. So you could tell ChatGPT to generate, a bunch of ideas for you or to help you brainstorm. But if you're not executing on actually creating that content, that's different. It's like, so I think it's still going to be the same way it always was, where the doers are going to get things done, but they're going to be able to get things done faster. What I'm trying to say there is some people are scared, of the implications of the technology, allowing people to, they should be scared, to be honest, because it's gonna disrupt the entire world, and it's going, it's an interesting thing. But using it for business, you can use it for content creation, getting ideas. I'm not saying, like just rip it straight off of there, have it doing that, because if you do that, it's going to say weird words at the wrong time, and it's going to people's bullshit meters are gonna be like, this isn't even like good.
Right.
This isn't truthful. This isn't authentic. So that's one thing to navigate that I've found to be tricky, because when you say AI, people automatically think it's doing all of the work for you. But there's a lot of work and a lot of idea generation that has to come into it to know to even use it to make yourself sound more humble, like not everyone's going to think that, because that's what I was replying to comments the other day, and I was like, I wanted to be humble, but I couldn't think of the exact way to do that. So I was like, ChatGPT, how would you reply to this humbly, more in a humble way? And what's cool about that is that's actually teaching me. like moving forward, I don't even need to use Chat GPT for that, because now I can be like, oh, this isn't something that my parents taught me. Now I know it, you know?
Right.
So it's like it can expose you to certain ways of thinking that you can that you take into your life afterwards, I think. So generating ideas, like, you know, writing things for you. For me, when I have it like write a story, it's actually teaching me the correct way to write it as a tutor almost, you know? So it's teaching me, like, when it comes to math, everyone is going to have a personal math tutor that can intervene in their life, like when specifically for their exact questions at all times. So that's going to help people in lots of ways, like grow, like, you know, growing up and, you know, going through the school system. Like, I think, it's just like having a calculator, you know? It's like teachers nowadays will let you use a calculator because everyone has a calculator in their pocket. So, and it's not the arithmetics, it's the fundamentals of being able to problem solve. And I think it's going to enable a lot of people to solve a lot of problems, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, and then for some of our viewers, 50,000 foot view, what is ChatGPT?
Well, it is a natural language processing AI that has been trained on lots of data that can help you generate text. Essentially, it's a text-based AI, but you can take that text and you can convert it into other, like, with, if you have skills in that, obviously. Like, if you're a video editor, you can create some awesome videos based off of the text from that. Or if you're a writer, you know. But yeah, it basically just 50,000 foot view. What would it be? How would you explain it?
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, besides the, like, what you were getting into, I would say, you're kind of alluding it to it. There's always gonna be a human element to it, because human element is gonna be the QC, the quality control of whatever you're doing, and you gotta learn how to actually teach this thing. To respond back to you. Most people go in it and they see like an open prompt, or like, okay, so how do I use this? You know. But as we're kind of start to understand it better, we're gonna be able to use it more effectively. And I'm just not talking about like people already learning how to use it effectively, but like the general consumers are gonna be able to understand how to use it effectively, right?
We'd like to take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Planet Duct. Let me tell you what, these guys, they've got some powerful equipment. Their fleet of air duct cleaning trucks are equipped with some of the most powerful vacuums you've ever seen. I mean, these whole trucks, the entire truck, is one giant vacuum itself. With their expertise and equipment, they not only get the job done, they get the job done right to maximum efficiency. And you don't want to be breathing in nasty air from having dirty air ducts or having inefficient airflow, so get your ducts clean with Planet Duct right now. Visit planetduct.com. If you're from Colorado Springs, then you've probably seen our next sponsor driving up and down Academy or at any of their other 3 locations here in Colorado Springs and in Pueblo. El Super Taco has authentic Mexican food with locally sourced and fresh veggies and meat that is chopped daily. Be sure to check them out next time you're hungry, and mention the podcast too. I mean, we don't got a code for you, but definitely mention it. Power Tool Safe has a vision to help fight against theft. They've developed technology to help you keep proper records and are building a community of awareness around stolen goods. Sign up today for a free account and register up to $10,000 in tools and equipment. No credit card required. It's as easy as setting up a Facebook account. Imagine having a team of marketing professionals working for your business, making sure that you get the awareness and sales that you deserve. Well, that's exactly what you get with Recon Marketing. With up to 35 plus years in experience and 10 million plus in managed budgets, they know exactly what it takes to put you on the radar. And our final sponsor is my company, Vement Visuals. We produce videos with passion and strong meaning. Our goal is to innovate and push the boundaries of what's possible when it comes to creating powerful visuals that drive results, whether that be in business or in life. We have the production power to produce any kind of visuals you want, from documentaries to YouTube videos to social media content, commercials that are designed for television, 3D animations, and so much more. It's kind of like Google when it first came out. My mom wouldn't know that you could search a whole sentence because it just didn't make sense because it wasn't there before. It was technology that wasn't there before. And technically that is AI. It's generating, like when you're asking it a whole sentence, you can trust that it's going to pull up some information for you. And with ChatGPT, there was something you were saying there that was, prompt crafting is what you can call it, like getting really good at crafting prompts and understanding how to use it on a deeper level. Say you could tell it, be like, write me a story about blah, blah, blah. Or you could be like, write me an outline for the story about blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you bullet points. And then you can break down each bullet point. Okay, then you could be like, okay, break down bullet point 1. Write the first 5 paragraphs for the first bullet point in that story. And then you can do that for every single bullet point. Next thing you know, you have a 100-page book. Because it won't generate 100 pages at one time. It'll only generate so much. And actually, if it's generating too much at one time, that's where things start to fall apart. Like, you have to be guiding it the whole way through. You have to understand that. A lot of people don't know. It's like, hey, generate an outline first, and then break down each outline point, and then go in there and make sure that it's like making sense too. It's like sometimes the second bullet point, you tell it to write it, it'll be redundant, and then you can be like, that's where you go in, and you be like, you either rewrite it yourself, or you can be like, take this and make it less redundant. You can do that as well too. It's fucking crazy.
It's super crazy.
Yeah.
In fact, tell us, like, you actually use this application almost exactly for example for my marketing company, for writing like a blog.
Yeah.
So talk about like how you prompted ChatGPT to do that. That was really cool.
Yeah, I forget exactly the process because it was a couple weeks ago. I forget like the exact prompts I used and how I broke it down.
I think you like had it learn the About Us page.
That's what I did.
Had
yes,
it
yes,
tell
yes.
you back, and then you went from there with it, right?
Yeah. So I could have just been like write or what I did first actually, as I said, write me 5 good articles for this marketing company. But before I did that actually, I could have just been like that, but I wanted it to be specific to you because it could have been any marketing company.
Totally.
And it still could have been good quality for a marketing company, but it's better if you can tie in like actual things about like who you are and what you stand for and what your brand is about. That's where it's like, that's where it gets really, really awesome. Really, really
So
special.
learn this brand, learn what they do, then tell me back exactly what they do and what makes them better than or more effective or their competitive advantages over all their competitors. Once you learn that and the system knows that, then you're like, now write out like the 10 best articles to support their efforts and what they're doing on the marketing front. And then you chose, option 2 out of like the 10 they gave, and then you're like, write a 1,000-page article about this, and you're like, cool, all right, make wittier, cool, make shorter, okay, make funnier,
make it funnier, whichever, make it more professional or whatever. And you can go in there because since I know your brand, I could have written like about you first, and then had it spit back like, okay, show me that you understand what this brand is about. But what I did is I didn't even have to. I went to your website, copied your About Me page, pasted it in there. And then I was like, reword this back to me of what you think it means. And then once I was able to have it prove to me that it knew what you guys were about, then I was like, write 10 articles about that company, because there's individual threads you can create so every time you go in there, you can create certain threads, and it'll remember everything in that thread. So you want like different threads for different things. And I like how you organized a bunch of threads specifically for you, right?
Yeah, for all the different business that I have. It's super cool. And I was talking to Edgar's behind the cameras, and he was telling me a little bit about like a Google detector to read like it's able to differentiate now like what's written by AI versus what's written by a person. So again, that's why there always has to be a human element involved in these things, correct?
Yeah, and I could see that. And I thought about that, and I didn't know they already created something like that. I assumed that something like that would be created, but this is where you go in and you add your human element. It's like when you go in there and you don't just take it for face value. You don't just rip it. You alter it and make it yourself. And it's interesting because I would like to see how that would be able to detect AI. I would like to understand, because if you're changing it up, like obviously it could see certain patterns, because that's all it is it's spitting out patterns that it was trained on and just recreating it as original content. It's still original though, so it doesn't matter if say Google detects it's AI. It's not plagiarism though. Like, it's straight up original content.
Unique content.
So it's like Google can have that all at once. I don't care.
Yeah. People are always going to figure out things about it too.
This is why you need a mic. I told you needed a mic. The SEO goes down?
Yeah, so that's what they're trying to combat, is like the SEO value of someone creating 100 articles a day to, bolster up their SEO value and whatever articles they're trying to do. there's going to be a happy medium. People are going to figure out a way around it. And again, with the human element there, it's going to have a lot. It's going to help it. Like me as a professional marketer, AI can write out some things, but I'm going to have a lot of edits. It's like any other writer that has people who go over their stuff to when it's ready for publish.
Well, I'm an editor basically, and I'm using it as a co-pilot.
Right.
It's like that's why I'd be interested to see what it detects as AI, because I have articles on my website that I actually are co-written. I like to say co-written by AI. And I did this back in April before ChatGPT was even around. And now I'm thinking, like, if there's a detector, I'm thinking, like, because I did it for SEO purposes. I wanted articles, and there's that book, They Ask You Answer, that I love a lot. It's basically about inbound marketing and creating content to instead of outreaching to people, having people reach to you because you're creating content in these areas. And one of my articles is like 10 best video production companies, or my favorite or best, whatever it is, in Colorado Springs. Edgar's on there. That was actually written by AI. But
cool.
It's very unique though. It's like it's got local things. So does that count as AI? I don't know. My articles, they're broken into multiple sections. Like the first section was written by itself, and like the second section was written by itself and separately. So it's like, it's not, because I think it would be bad if like you just said write a 1,000-word article, or write an article and it writes everything. And like you're not intervening, or you're not like touching things up. That could probably be detected by AI. But like if you're going in and altering, like if you're going in and actually, you're still doing work regardless.
And it's here to stay. I think one thing to note, like, and for our viewers out there, it's really interesting to really think about this, because it could be doing a lot of different things, right? Eventually it will be able to do video editing. It will be able to content write. It will be able to optimize like a marketer can.
So
it'll be doing a lot of those things, right?
It can right now.
But I think, and you guys know Christo. Do you know who Christo is? Like super famous designer. You guys should follow him on Instagram, Christo. He was talking about, it's not going to eliminate us videographers,
No, it's
marketers.
gonna allow us to do more.
It's kind of twofold. It will eliminate some of them. It'll eliminate probably all the way to like the B+ players. A players are going to stick around in the B+, because those are the people who adapt. Those are the people who really know video editing, know marketing, and they're going to stick around and they're going to thrive because, like you said, they're going to adapt and learn how to use these things. And that's the biggest piece to this. That's why we can't stress this enough to people that, oh, there goes the intervalometer.
Nice.
Good. Okay. Yeah, we can't stress this enough to people that like you have to start understanding this technology, because it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get smarter, and it's a slippery slope. So if you're able to learn it, do it as quickly as possible. Alex Hermosi always talks about, he's like, essentially it only takes about 20 hours to learn anything, at least to have a basic understanding and not be dangerous with it.
Yeah.
So, I can't stress this enough, like put some hours into learning it. It's only going to benefit you and your business if you're an entrepreneur out there.
I think so too. And yeah, like you said, it may even take C players and make them A players. But the A players, if they do what the C players are doing, if they're smart, they're going to become A+ players.
Yeah.
Or even, whatever is before A.
So let's go back. Let's talk a little bit about vehement visuals and you did a lot. I mean, it was more than just ChatGPT, because you said you were using it before that was even out there, right?
Yeah, I was paying for it, and now it's free.
Well, there you go. But
endlessly free.
But you're also using generated content too from it, right? So talk a little bit about that. You're even getting yourself into animation and all those different things last year. I just thought that's all cool. I know we talked a little bit about it last year, but I think it's kind of cool to see what happened with that and what you learned from it as well.
Yeah. I got one right here.
What you got?
This is partially AI.
Oh yeah.
And it's big enough for the camera.
And please describe what you're doing in that, because I don't even know really what you're doing in that.
Things. And I actually used Dolly for this one, and I don't even like to use Dolly. But when it generated this top pool right here, this was crappy and jagged. I went in Photoshop and I created these lines. I added this water right here. This water wasn't in there. Like, I went in there in Photoshop. A lot of this stuff is a lot of Photoshop creation. I added this vehement in there actually, and I added the reflection so that it looked like I had to know a lot of things creatively to put this together. But this whole background, so what I did is I basically described my logo in words to this AI to create this realistic outlook, and then I cut out a picture of myself that was right here, and it was actually only the top part, and I used AI to generate the body. That's how people in New Zealand say it. I heard that the other day, and it's stuck in my head. The way they say body is funny. I like it. And then I added that logo on there. I made it look grainy. I made it look like it was like actually like this. So that was actually like my actual logo. I slapped that on there. I distorted the angle of it so it looked like it was in there. So there's a lot of technical know-how that's in this. It's AI, but this is about 5 hours of work. Yes, it's still AI, but it's still like a lot of work, you know? And like getting the letters to look right and to have the glow to come off of it. And it was just really fun to create. And that's why I'm saying like, it's not just AI. And that's why I'm actually very reluctant to say I used AI for this, because when I say that, people think
you didn't do
everything.
it. Yeah.
I'm like, I spent hours on that.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just leave that.
And again, like that human touch is, at least for the time being, is going to be a big part of it, and it's always going to be a big part of the QC, like which is pretty much what you did. It's the quality control of everything.
Another thing I would love to explain, the glow on my face. So I actually had layers on this. I actually turned this into a video where the light flickers, and then it also all the glow on my body, it flickers. And so adding that glow on my face, I had to have to know how to do that, you know, and just that was one of my favorite small details that most people probably don't even notice. Just because I inserted this glow on the Vehement, and I was like, I have to reflect that on my face. And this is the headquarters of Vehement Visuals in the future. So that's what that's kind of looking like. This one's glued on. Oh no, it's not. Yeah,
okay.
It's just that one.
Oh gosh,
All right.
that's scary.
Okay. Maybe it's not.
Maybe you should stop touching that. That scares the heck out of me. That's crazy.
Okay. I don't even think I was talking to my mic the whole time, was I? Okay. Next time, let me know. Like, hey.
What's going on with the what's the big goals if you've done them? We're still in January, but like, what are goals for Vehement come 2023? And then I'll talk about some of our goals for Recon and Tiny House even. But you go first.
Yeah, and so last year you said you brought up I was getting into 3D and 3D animation. I really love that. I think it's a way for me to stand out in the crowd, and with AI going to be able to generate a lot of things for people, it may even be able to generate 3D stuff easier. So I may be, making it, it's a lot harder to do now, but it may actually end up with AI be easier than actual video editing. But right now, 3D animation creation is a very complex, hard thing. It takes a lot of different skills all into one. And I think that's why it's so unique to have an individual person to do 3D animation, because it takes so many fundamentals of different aspects of art. It puts them all into one. Usually there's a team of people that are working on like the rigging, which is the mechanical aspects of the 3D characters, and then you got someone sculpting, which is a whole nother skill. And then you got someone video editing, like exporting the renders and then putting it in a software and making it actual like color, an actual movie, an actual video film. And so I think it's very unique, and I think it's a good way to differentiate myself and have a unique value proposition. I think that, and I love it. It's just that it's a lot of work, and I think it adds more value to what I can do, because I can get super custom with what I do, and I can add more value. I mean, I can make more money, and so that's kind of the idea why I got into that, because I also love it as well too. And so focusing on really creating more 3D animation stuff. Did a lot of events last year. I think I said because I have to remember. As just I forget the question actually.
Updates and goals for 2023 for Vehement Visuals.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now. It's like I'm in a tricky spot right now, because I'm at a fork in the road. I'm trying to decide where I want to take my company, and it's two different, completely different directions.
Yeah.
I think I want to be a video production company still, but produce original content for myself and not as a service. Mm-hmm. So I think I may want to change the way I do business. I'm just, it's like the last couple months, dealing with a little bit of depression, and it's just making me reanalyze, because when you have depression, it is indicator that you're not doing something right in your life for you. Exactly. It's just it's like your immune system, telling you something,
Yeah.
It's a red flag, and I have to figure out what that is. And I'm thinking I need to change how I do business as a whole. Like I'm just tired of people not valuing videographers, and with AI, it's going to get even worse because when people can generate things themselves. You're not a videographer, you're sitting here generating captions.
Yeah.
And which is something that takes a lot of time to do until it doesn't. And so it's like, being depressed has made it even harder to deal with those realities, so it just is another reminder. It's like, and I'm not saying people don't value videographers, but based off of what I've experienced, a lot of times people are expecting us to work for very cheap, and I'm not going to do that. I may even just double my rates and do what Alex Ramosi did when he was kind of just fed up with running, like going and fixing up gyms. He was like, he just said like this ridiculous number, and the guy was like, okay, and he was like, really? And then he went and closed like 5 more deals that same day.
Yeah.
At that same rate.
So true.
So it's like, it's a matter of finding. I'm always a positive person, so I'm always it's easy for me to see the positive side and to find like I know there's people out there that will value my work, and that's what I'm getting at right there. And it's just a matter of, do I want to put in that work, or do I want to, create my own original content and get paid for it, like starting a YouTube channel. And with things like ChatGPT, I think I can start a YouTube channel and be prolific in it, like be Mr. Beast style, like not his style, but like be a beast at it. That's what I meant to say, actually. Like
his level, though.
Yeah, like producing, and actually putting a lot of time into the videos. And when I have ChatGPT to help me generate ideas and help me generate scripts, I can focus on more of the quality of the video. I can focus on other things, and it allows me to multiply myself, essentially. And I'm excited for that, because everything I've learned about, like, the reason I got into video production in the first place was to have a successful YouTube channel anyways. So it's like, that's how I learned video and got fascinated by video. And yeah, so it's like, I think maybe I want to start focusing on, like, what I know about YouTube. I think I can grow a YouTube channel relatively quickly, and it's just a matter of putting the time in. And every other time I've started a YouTube channel, I've treated it like a hobby. And I want to go into it this time and treat it like a business.
Love it.
And I think that's where I might go with Vehement Visuals, is being a video production company, but in the same way that Disney is a video production company, or the same way that Mr. Beast is a video production company, creating content for myself instead of as a service. Because I use ChatGPT to brainstorm, like, okay, if I was to scale Vehement Visuals, like if I was to only close $10,000 deals and above, like if that's what I was going to focus on, I realized I don't think I want to do all the things that involves, scaling. Because with scaling, it comes, with there's a lot more money, more problems. As as I don't know, I forgot who said that. Was that who is that? Biggie Smalls? Or?
I think he probably did. Yeah. I think that's the first one that came to my mind, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There's so much there. I mean, first and foremost, like stress and depression, as far as being an entrepreneur, is like, I almost think it has to happen, and it has to happen several times.
Yeah.
So like, the for one, that you're able to bring in money doing a service that you love to do, which is great. That's like the first big hump, is like, can I make money doing something that I like to do?
Yeah. And
then the second thing is like, okay, now it's how to scale it. And that part is harder, because it really figures out whether or not you want to do it long term or not.
Yeah.
And like, I think the best thing that you said was that you're depressed. Like you're open about that. And I think that's really good, because any entrepreneur will be able to understand that. So it's really important to lean on other entrepreneurs who have been there, done that. And it's not to say they're never going to get depressed in their business again, but I think it's just part of the journey of being an entrepreneur. Everybody can understand that. So lean into your friends who are in similar industries as you, like me or Edgar or whomever. It's going to really help you with that. And that way you can be there for us when that happens with us, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's cyclical in a lot of ways too. Like you said, more money, more problems. I've had other stressful things happen with me too, with where I'm at with my businesses too. So that's so important. And the other thing was, you're talking about with like people valuing you. What I found is that price reflects the customer. So for me, like starting Recon, we always wanted to go with a little bit higher price model and go with more established businesses making at least $1 million or more a year. Best decision ever.
Good.
Hardest decision because it wasn't like I was getting a client every single day.
You gotta punt all the smaller clients.
Yeah.
I literally punt them.
But
You
you're
gotta
in
say
rare
no.
air, and when you do find them, it's like, hey, we spent $20,000 experimenting or A/B testing something. That's not everything to them, and they're not going to freak out. They understand it's part of the process of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing is essentially testing things, and seeing, and it's always going to be that. You're never going to have a perfect formula like set sail, and you just never have to worry about marketing ever again. It's never ever existing thing, just like video. So yeah, man, I'm excited about that with you. I'm just pumped that you're on that journey, and it sounds like you've been figuring some things out. I know we've talked on a personal level off camera of like what those are and stuff like that with you. So I'm excited to see what this year offers for you. I think it was just very timely that was happening, and I feel like you're kind of already starting to get out of it, which is great, because it's just in time for this year to start. So that's awesome.
It's interesting because like you could say I was going through a period like this last year. I don't think it was as long. I think it was a lot more short-lived. But then February came around and things started picking up. Next thing I know, I'm busy until last month. And it's just like things just kept going, but still, I made I made more money last year than I made at any other job in my life. So that's something to be grateful for. That's something that I need to remind myself and be happy about. But I'm still getting I feel like I'm getting mediocre results. I still feel like I'm I'm working endlessly and getting mediocre results. That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not in this alone as far as feeling that way. And just, if you ever need anything, obviously you can always call me and stuff like that. And we could talk through some things, but like never feel isolated with your feelings with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like the only thing that's made me successful is that I've kind of embraced the struggle. And like, as soon as I embraced it, it made it a little bit easier, but I just know there's always just an everlasting ongoing struggle with everything that I do. And I just accepted that's gonna be my life. And then any partner that I have, like Danielle, like she's accepted that's part of my life too, that comes with me, that I'm always growing through something, and at least on a professional level. And so yeah, man, I'm here for you, bro, for sure. Updates for Recon. We're starting to, speaking of AI, we're starting to automate a lot of our processes, like our web design. We have figured out a great process for that. Anybody needing a WordPress website, custom WordPress website built on Elementor or Shopify, we're your people. We can do it custom, really, really beautiful websites, and then quicker than anybody out there right now. So we're super excited about that. SEO, we've automated that process for the past, I guess it was last year. So that is an update. So if you guys want any SEO services, let us know. We can guarantee certain amount of keyword rankings every single month, which is like almost impossible for a lot of SEO companies out there to do. We can guarantee at least 5 keyword rankings every month, if not more.
Nice. That's Brett though, right?
It's Brett's baby, so he's the one that always talks about it. But yeah.
Brett who's Brett?
Mike. He's the co-owner with me of Recon Marketing. So a lot of exciting things for it, and a lot of exciting things to happen with the marketing end too. The one thing that we have hired for is like having marketers, so account managers for the paid ads. So we've restructured a lot of different packages, even for, as you'll find out too, and you'll find out, Edgar, is photographers, videographers, and things of that nature too, to be able to give them opportunities to even upsell while they're at shoots. I think that's super important for everybody on the team to understand, like, hey, if I was going to suggest something, how much I would make from it, so on and so forth. I think that's really cool. So we've been really working hard on like, getting that all really organized stuff for everybody on the team, whether just, again, I'm trying to get the strings as far away from me as possible, as far as like having to come to me for every single thing. That's not how you scale or leverage anything, right? So I'm at that point with the tiny house. I'll give an update on the later episode with that, but there's a lot of things going on with that. But just so people know, the next festival is going to be July 8th and 9th of 2023 at the Ranch Events Complex in Loveland, Colorado. Super excited about that. And there are some really cool new builders already on board for that. So I'll give updates maybe on another episode of that. So that's super exciting too. And then I wanted us to talk about updates for the COS Business Podcast. This is our show.
Speaking of which, like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. And if you're a small business out there who wants to sponsor our show, let's talk. We have a lot of great options. We have a lot of great sponsors for this show, but we're taking more, especially in 2023. We have a lot of big goals for this year.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about like some updates, especially on the guest end and what we're trying to do with the show.
Yeah. So with the show, we want to be able to provide more value to the listeners so that they can get something from each episode and learn, and not that they haven't and can't from all the other previous episodes, but we want to do it at a bigger level. And by bigger, I mean we want to get guests on who are 10xing any guest we've had on before, or 2xing, 3xing, whatever. We want bigger companies to share their experience. And so I think that'll be exciting for listeners. I think that'll, like, if you're a viewer of the show and we get CORS on, I think that'll be exciting for them. I think that'll be something that they could glean some information. I use CORS as an example because they're a Colorado company. We can get anyone from anywhere in the world, I think, like Alex Ramosi. You want to come on? Let's do it. Eventually, I think we will have Alex Ramosi on, and Gary. Everyone who's in the business marketing, like YouTube or social media influencer, they're going to be on the show, like every big one. Gary Vaynerchuk's actually the person who inceptualized this show, essentially. Obviously, I did the work and, made it happen, and it developed into its own thing. But he gave the title. He was the Chat GPT. And so it's just cool. So hoping to get bigger guests that can give unique, different perspectives than what we've had on before, I think.
Yeah, and we want to give updates to what's going on in our community too in Colorado Springs. We are downtown, so we do see a lot of things that are happening down here, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to be able to highlight that. So we are looking for a coffee sponsor too, by the way. We drink a lot of coffee.
Stir just followed us back, or not followed us back. They followed us. Were you talking to them?
Yes.
Okay,
just
I figured.
I'm always upselling us. Yeah. So hopefully
we weren't even following them yet.
Hopefully, Stir. We didn't get the owner's name, but Edgar and I were getting coffee. And we're talking to the management there about like who's the owner and a little bit about.
Well,
them.
should I talk to Danielle? She works there.
Yeah, potentially. Well, we talked to one of the guys who's like, I guess the manager,
Gotcha.
morning manager of it or whatever. But yeah, we want to get Stir on here. You guys are like literally across the street. I've been there like the past 6 days in a row, like twice a day. So I've been helping fund your business, your new location at least.
Yes.
And those are the type of people that we want to get on the show. Established businesses, storefronts that have been here for a long time. Stir's been in Colorado Springs for a long time. This is their second location.
Have they? I didn't even know about them until that one.
Yeah, they have another location right up the road, I think off Wasatch. 2 miles up there. Wasatch.
That's
so,
right. I like to say it like a surfer. Wasatch. Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
Comment about it in the below.
So we've had some really good guests on the show recently. We had James Wicker on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about some of the programs for entrepreneurs here that are going on. The Survive and Thrive program put on by Exponential Impact, which is a great program for those who were affected by the pandemic. So existing businesses that are around during 2020. I think it's really cool to see that there's a lot of things going on in our city downtown. Is there any updates that you have on your end? I know you're not as downtown as much as you used to be, but you have a lot of good friends in the community who are putting on events that you do video for. Is there any updates that you should give people for new community events or anything like that, or programs?
Yeah, there's an event I'm doing that Amber Turner is putting on called Impact. I don't think that's the name of the event, but her company is Impact You. In Impact You Speaks. But we have a really special speaker there. Temple Grandin's going to be speaking. I don't know how she organized that, but she made it happen. And if you're not familiar with Temple Grandin, she's a very, very big advocate for pets and autism. She herself has autism, and she speaks about it, and she's very intelligent when she speaks, and it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to do that because I also I recorded a podcast last year where she was also in that podcast too. So it's just serendipitous and great. I love serendipitous moments like that. So that's going to be cool. And that's February 11th at the 21 Library District 21C.
Ah, nice.
Mm-hmm. And so I've actually filmed there before with Mike Schoening, who's been on the show 3 times, speaking of past guests, and doing Unconditional. We did the event there last year. And so it's going to be, I have experience in that venue, so that's cool. And there's another event with and it might be after this episode airs actually. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
But there's also Comedian Cocktails, which is probably one of the ones you're talking about. But they go on a monthly basis too, right? Mm-hmm. So they're one that goes on the first. What is it? The first of every month?
Thursday, I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First Thursday every
so
month.
February 2nd. Is that a Thursday?
Carry the 4. I think so.
Carry the 4. He's like, I'm not autistic.
Yeah, that's a great one. Talk a little bit about that one too.
Yeah, Community in Cocktails is an event, a monthly event that educates on business. It's business education. It's $20 each month, and you meet other entrepreneurs in the community. there's a lot of cool people that come, I think. And James Wicker host it, actually. And yeah, I mean, a lot of information about like, so we've talked about fraud. We've had Todd from Red Leg on multiple times on the stage, talking about how he's been able to grow his company, talking about certain grants and things in the community that have happened and how they have impacted him a little bit. You know, some things that didn't go too well because he got like some really good funding, and then they pulled it out from him because they changed the zoning or something like that. I can't speak too much about it because I don't know exactly all of that details, but I do know that, you know, we talk about stuff like that at those events with actual real companies in the Springs. So it's similar to what we're doing here, but on stage.
That's super cool. I also have an update for some of our friends, Flip and Laritza Aguilera. They're putting on another Best of the West Wing Fest.
Best of the West Wing Fest.
They haven't announced the dates. They might after this episode or before this episode airs, but I'm gonna let them kind of be the main person to announce that. But it's super exciting. They are returning for a second year. They have a lot of fun things in the works for this one to make it even bigger than last year, and I'm just so pumped for them. They own Sophisticated Events, Nerd Night, and Memoirs, but they're also, you know, they're just looking to really get dialed in on what they're doing for the community. And again, they're from Miami. They're just another transplant here, like Andrew and other people who have just come and made a name for themselves and have really instilled themselves in the community. So it's super exciting to see that happen, especially for someone like me who's been here for going on 20 years. Like, it's just cool to see a lot of new faces make a name for themselves here. So super pumped about that. Stay tuned for those updates as well. Then
there's Anthem Music Enterprises. They put on a lot of events. I don't know specifically of one right now, but I know that they will probably have an event or two this year. But they have a studio, a recording studio, music studio, and even probably a content studio too. It's a beautiful studio. They did a really great job with that. So just wanted to shout them out as well.
Right off of Garden of the Gods, yeah.
Yeah. Right over there. I've done videos at the building next to them. It was like the first videos I got hired for. I traded getting my brakes done, an oil change, and $500.
There you go.
Yeah. It was one of my first deals that I did with Greg Sheldon, actually. He's a great guy. He's a person that's big in the community as well too. He does the Thrive thing. Well, as a student, I know he's done that. Just an overall great person in the community, I think.
That's awesome, man. That's good. Any other updates?
His business is Auto Shop Vocational. He teaches kids in, not just kids, but in other people too, about, you know, like the fundamentals of how to repair your own car and enabling people to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. To have that knowledge, like if you're you get a flat tire or like certain things. Just he teaches basically how he also helps people who are looking to be mechanics get their knowledge and get their education that they need. That's what Auto Shop Vocational is about. And yeah, I wanted to shout out him for that. And he has an online course, I think, too.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. The only other update I have is a former guest on the show, Yemi, is running for mayor. He just got on the ballot. I think he's number 4 on the ballot. If you're from the city and you want to get involved in that, I think the election is April 4th, 2023. And he's the number 4, so he's 4-4 on, or he's 4 on 4-4 rather. So that's how he has people remember where he is on the ballot. So good friend of ours on the show. If there's any other people who want to get on our show prior to election that are running for mayor, we would love to have you on the show as well. Get to know you. Put the word out what your plans are if you were to become mayor of Colorado Springs. I think that'd be really cool to have you guys on before election.
There's a comedian running right now, a friend of mine, Callan Reese. It was actually funny. The Gazette, there's like 16 people that are running. Like actually, I think there's like 20 people that are candidates. And the Gazette posted a photo on their website talking about that article, and they used his picture.
Yeah, I remember you talking to me about that.
Yeah, I thought that was great because I think he's doing it as a joke. But if he's very, very really serious about it and has intentions, it'd be fun to have him on the show too. I love comedians and I love promoting them because I think they're a business as well too, and like they need to treat themselves as a business. We've had multiple comedians on this show already. We've had Jason Alexander, who is the youngest comedian in town probably. I don't know. But he's killing it. Like he's really putting in
Great
work.
kid.
Yeah.
Great dad too.
Yeah, his
Talked to his
dad's
dad.
like got businesses here in Colorado Springs, like a couple of them, I think. And yeah, and then we've had Brian Sullivan on, and then we've had Mark Masters on. Those are all comedians, local comedians, Colorado. Most of them Colorado Springs, except for one, Mark Masters. But he's Colorado. He puts on some things.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah. Colorado. Yeah. And yeah. So Colin Reese is running. So that'd be we may get him on the show, or at least have him pop in the studio and do some things.
Like Theo.
Yeah.
Like a Theo Vaughn kind of.
He is a very Theo Vaughn vibes, only because of a mullet though, and he's white.
a mullet. Yeah.
But he has a long mullet, like a 2-year grown mullet. Like that's how long.
Also, one of the
I
funniest.
asked him actually. I was like, "You've been growing that for 2 years now, haven't you?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Kind of side note, just to kind of go off topic here. When you were showing your picture, I was cracking up when you were showing it because it had like literally the same calic on that image that you have like right. Well, it's not. It's just your hairdo. It's not even your calic. It's just how you kind of just the little mohawk, faux hawk kind of deal going on. So I thought that was cracking me up. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because my hair, when I took these pictures, my hair was, I say pictures because this is a photo I have every angle of my face, every angle of my head.
What is going on with your arms there? I know it's representing the V, but that's some.
My arms?
That's your arm up there with the finger in it.
Oh yeah, the AI generation put that in there. Well, I think I actually added that. So what I did is I circled out this part because it was just the end of the V, and I was trying to make it sharp. And I said something, and it put a hand there. And I was like, I like that. It's like reaching for the sky, It's like...
Bro, we need to throw you in basketball if you've got some reach like that. Or make you a fighter, dude. What the heck?
So it kind of accidentally happened. And the coolest part about the AI is it knows direction of light. Like, the light's hitting it correctly. And I just liked it. I thought it looked cool. So I was like, I'm just going to keep it. I could have edited it out, but... I didn't. And these are on there, dude.
So we are going to update the studio, although we do kind of like how we were moving the studio. As you guys can see, we have a larger studio now, so we're super excited about that. We're still in the works of getting that all like renovated and everything too, but for now it's just the panels from the old wall. And so we've made some creative ingenuity and stacked a couple of them on top of each other. Super unsafe. Probably a big hazard, but it is what it is right now. So every time he does put that on there, it freaks me out like he's going to get killed by one of those boards coming off. But
it's not this one, though. It's that one.
I don't believe you.
This is the only one that's loose. It's the only one that's loose. They're all taped on there. I carried this up the stairs. No, I didn't. I used the elevator. But I did carry it. I was like walking around like with it. And yeah, it's, like most of these are still nailed on. They're actually staples, to be technical. But yeah, we're gonna try to fill. We're not done. We have a lot of work to do still in here. To be honest, gotta get more foam. We technically don't need the foam, but I like the way it looks. I think it makes it feel like a studio more. And that's a beat.
Nope. Velometer, the intervalometer.
Sounds like something. We've been going for like a 45 minutes, something like that. What does that timer say on that?
57.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah.
Start wrapping things up. Is there any other updates that you have? Anything else? We talked about a lot today. So
Colorado Springs has 479,000 people that live here, from the 2020 consensus, the 2020 census, which is 15% growth from the 2010 census, and I think 15% is big for a city in 10 years, right?
Yes, it's very big.
It's massive, right?
Yeah, and I mean not to include the all the cities that are around it, right? It's
that includes. Oh yeah, that doesn't include it.
It's like the monuments, the fountains, the securities, the Peytons, the Falcons, all those different ones are not included in that, which is, we're pretty
which
big.
Is the metro of those are considered like
Colorado Springs metro
suburban cities that will grow as the city grows. They'll be like the Auroras of Denver, or the Independence of Kansas City for any Kansas City viewers.
That actually reminds me of something. So if you are in the Springs and you have not been downtown in some time, come downtown. There's a lot going on down here, especially on the apartments end. I think right now there's like 6 or 7 apartment buildings getting put up just in downtown alone. Now, something to note here was that there wasn't even a new apartment that got built here until like 2017 or 18. And since then, there's already been like 6 or 7 since you've lived here, and again 6 or 7 currently being built, and they're all very large ones. So
it's going to be that way consistently in perpetuity.
Yeah, it's like a Gary V kind of little. He likes to say perpetuity a lot.
Does he?
Yes,
okay.
yes. Anyways,
I know him, and I don't think I've heard him say that.
It's crazy. So there's going to be hopefully, right? Hopefully there's going to be a lot of young people living down here, which comes a lot of innovation. That means there's going to be a lot more nightlife that has to be built to sustain that. Super exciting time. So if you haven't been downtown Colorado Springs in a long time, come down here. You'll see a lot of new businesses up and running. We were notoriously known as kind of a sleepy town for a long time. I think that's been changing the past couple of years.
Sure.
And so I'm super excited to see what happens with all that. Again, Stir just opened up maybe a month ago, and we've been going there their second location, just to be clear. Their second location just opened up right here off Tejon. So just really cool, exciting things. So get downtown if you haven't been. You'll be seeing some new businesses and new nightlife. So that's great.
Yeah, we're the second biggest city in the state, It's like, it's inevitable for growth, It just makes sense. And it's a beautiful city. That's why I stayed. And yeah, so there's that aspect. I just had that stat memorized from last night, so I wanted to say that.
No, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. And I mean, we have a lot of great things going on in the city, like you said, and we're actually the biggest city area-wise. So
that was another stat I was going to say. It's the biggest area, expansive, the most expansive city in the state. Yeah, which is interesting. I like that.
I think it's also hurt us in some ways. Anybody who's lived here for a long time knows, it's been really hard to centralize downtown just because there's so many other areas in Colorado Springs that are popping. Interquest Parkway, right? And Northgate. I used to live in between both, and that's got Topgolf, it's got Shields, it's got Torchy's, it's got Fuzzy's, it's got Whataburger, it's got In-N-Out, it's got Bass Pro Shop, it's got the new amphitheater. Is going to be comparable or comparable to Red Rocks. Crazy cool, So it's good to see all that happen, but it's also it's good to see a lot of things coming up downtown too, to again centralize a hub for everybody to go and have fun,
Yeah, and I like it downtown, and yeah, it's interesting how that works too, because you never know when certain things get annexed, or that whole area could be its own city eventually, the Interquest area. I know there's Nob Hill, which is pretty close to downtown. At one point that was potentially going to be its own city, they were going to break off, which is very interesting how cities work. I've been studying them a lot more lately. So it's wild that way over there it's still Colorado Springs, but it's also not, either way it'll still be Colorado Springs metro area no matter what. It's still, people are going to think of it that's Colorado Springs. If you're traveling and you live in Fountain and you tell someone where you live, you're going to say Colorado Springs most likely, and that's just how it is, because people don't know what Fountain is. You're probably even going to say Denver. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, hopefully not.
yeah, hopefully not. But yeah, I think this has been a good episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation. Is there anything else you would like to talk about? Did we cover enough recon stuff? How are you guys? How was your guys' last year?
Oh gosh, great! It was our biggest year too. A lot of different things shuffled around as far as ownership goes. I think we're at a really good spot now, with Brett and myself running the show at Recon. And so another thing to note is that Recon's office is kind of adjoined to this studio now, which is super cool, because we get to see a lot of good faces around. I get to see Edgar, I get to see you, I get to see my team from Recon too. And so I've been trying to create a little bit more of a collaborative space. It's good for me too, because I've been working alone for so long. I kind of like the stimulation every once in a while. But yeah, it's been great. Things have been going good. Like I said, we've been automating a lot of our processes out, and then really figuring out where our margins are. Hormozy has the best. If you guys haven't listened to Alex Hormozy, he's the best business tactical person out there, because he's
really
giving content away that you should be paying for. In fact, most people make you pay for, and he's just screw it, I'm just gonna give it away for free.
That's why I love Gary so much.
That's why he has mass adoption for him, similar to Gary. That's why they're very similar, right? Because they're giving away things that are you should be paying for, because it's so good, and especially for any level of businesses out there. But one thing he talks about, and it's for a health of a business, is understanding gross margin and net margin in your businesses, or business if you're just running one business, and really understanding how to use that for your pricing model and then at scale. And so we have kind of reconstructed a lot of things in Recon just to make sure that we're doing things the right way and we're selling things the right way as far as one time. So we're going to be introducing our one-time sales. Anything with marketing, it's a great model because you have recurring revenue because clients pay you every month, right? But a big thing in marketing too is the level of which you get one-time sales. a web design, a one-off photo shoot, one-off video shoot, whatever it might be. Those are the big things in marketing, and you need to understand the numbers on that too. And we have never rolled those out on a very scalable model until this year, so we're excited about that. So that's kind of where we're at with everything with it. We want to make sure the numbers are working. We got to make sure that the margins are correct too, and that way it brings everybody up that we're bringing on board too.
For sure.
So and then they understand that too, like where we're at with our numbers too. I think it's very good to be transparent on those things too.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, if I could understand like your guys' pricing model when I go out to pitch, video production, I can do the vice versa of what you guys could do for me. It's like, well, we can do these videos, but we can also do SEO as well too. And
Correct.
we can or whatever. And so if I know your guys' process, how you guys qualify clients, like what makes a client even worth pitching that to. Then I can, like, when I go in there, I can make these upsells, get a little commission or something off of that, and you guys are making money too as well,
Yeah.
or commission or upsell, whatever way, like however we work out those numbers where it makes sense for there's incentives, for both of us to be pitching each other services or whatever, So I think it's good to understand those. For me as well too, because I'm a salesman as well. Like,
yes, you are.
I've had to learn how to sell, and I actually kind of enjoy it. I do have a lot of pressure that builds up when it comes to sales meetings, but when I'm in the sales meeting, like I have a lot of pressure because I want everything to go right. So I'm like prepping, like doing, like I spend it takes a lot of mental energy when I have a sales meeting. So that's why one thing I need to do differently that I'm going to be changing my business is qualifying a little bit better so that I'm not wasting my time and energy with a client who is, that doesn't value my services, or that just it's not in their budget. It's like, it's not that they don't value it, it's just that they don't have it in their budget.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, I'm going to put a pitch out there to any business listening right now. We've been talking about recession, whether or not it's here or not, or whether it's looming in the future. It doesn't really matter. What we're going to see now is going to be a lot of businesses in a recession that usually go out, they go out of business. So if you are a business owner out there, this is the best time. And people think, well, this is the time I need to be the tightest with my money. This is the best time for you to get a real big land grab of your market share. It's the best time to be doing video. It's the best time to be redesigning your website if it's 2 years or more older. It's the best time to be putting money into your marketing, which is video, which is SEO, your ads, all those things. This is the time to do it. This is the time where these are where the biggest businesses are born out of. It's true.
Yeah.
Look at any big business that has ever existed. Most of them have been built out of recessions for a reason. It's because they hit the gas when everybody else is hitting the brakes. So if you're out there and you're looking for that, please get in contact via Visuals with Andrew or for me with Recon. We're also business owners. So beyond our specialty, we understand your business because we have our own business. So if you just need someone to consult you or talk to you, just let us know. That's what we're here for, and we can definitely help you out. Guaranteed, and at the very least, just get some really good free advice for yourself and your business. I wanted to put that out there. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Clip that. Just kidding. Yeah, that's great. That'll be good. And yeah, I think that's a good spot to wrap.
Yeah, awesome. This has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.
And like and subscribe if you're watching this, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.